Good evening, one. Good evening, all, and welcome to the Toon review for tonight's Newcastle United news and transfer information. It just keeps coming, doesn't it? The news just keeps on coming, whether it's good or bad. But hopefully, it's a lot more positive at the moment for Newcastle United, which we'll go through in due course. Thank you, everybody, for tuning in. My name's Paul. I'm with Alex and Billy for tonight. And of course, if you do enjoy the show, please do give it the thumbs up. And do subscribe if you're new and you like what you see. It is free to do so, but don't forget to hit that notification bell, which will let you know when we upload any videos or we schedule in our lives. And of course, you can become a member of the Toon Review by hitting that join button just underneath us. We are giving away some prizes tonight and for the rest of the week. Some fantastic stuff is coming up to give away. Those of you that have won prizes previously, they've all been sent now, so you should receive them by the weekend at the latest if you were one of the winners last time. However, we have a good few to give away tonight and the rest of the week as well, guys. So a lot to go through. So if you want to be a member and in it to win it, hit that join button. And of course, you can donate to the channel as usual via Super Chat, the $ at the bottom of the live comments, and that will guarantee your comments to be read out on the show. Good evening, chatters.
Good evening, everybody.
Hello. And how are we doing on this fine evening?
Excellent. It's been a good day today.
In what way,
lots to talk about.
Yes, we have.
Well, I was watching the Tour de France for 5 hours earlier, and Sasso's fellow Manx man broke the record for stages that won at the Tour de France, beating a 50-year-old record. So, yeah, it's good stuff. Enjoyed it.
A comment's just caught my eyes here. What's this? Manipulating a poor lad with a dream to play for his home club with money. What does SMH mean? I'm getting old.
Shaking my head.
Shaking my head, Newcastle. I don't know what that means.
Well, he obviously is a Liverpool supporter that isn't very happy that we're trying to offer him more money to stay at Newcastle.
Yeah, well, look, we may as well start on the Anthony Gordon thing because let's put it to bed once and for all. Because I don't think Anthony Gordon is going anywhere. We've said this for quite some time now. Listen. PIF have, there's been numerous reports come out today that the PIF are sick of the rumours as well. They've had enough, and Anthony Gordon looks like he's going to get offered a new contract, which would involve, Billy, a hefty pay rise, which is nice as well. But to secure him on a new deal, that'll just put everything to bed.
You would hope so. If, of course, he doesn't have to sign it. I mean, if he really is intense on going back to his home city, then he won't sign it. But if he does, I think it will speak volumes for how the lad's thinking. And yeah, I think he deserves a good pay rise because he's been fantastic the past season, hasn't he?
Yeah, he has. Alex, like Billy says, there's no sort of definitive reason he would sign a new contract, but he doesn't have to, as Billy said. But I think he would if he was offered one.
I don't see why he wouldn't as well. Again, we've spoken. I think I've mentioned this briefly. But from everything we've seen recently from Anthony Gordon with his interviews, he's obviously a very level-headed, grounded young man who has a lot of he takes a lot of inspiration from successful people, top athletes, successful people in life. He reads a lot of books. He tries to emulate people. He tries to better himself with his diet, his routine, his professional life. He wants to be a professional athlete at the top level. He knows that at Newcastle, he's got a good setup where he will play every game if he's fit and available. He's able to develop with the setup, with the system. He's able to even expand his game by being a bit more flexible, playing out on the right, sometimes getting a pop centrally, sometimes playing in a possession system, sometimes having to do a lot more defensive work. He's grown a lot. He's scored a lot of goals. He's managed to break through to England at Newcastle as well. And he appreciates the project and he'll be well clued in on what's going on inside the club about our progression. So it wouldn't really make a lot of sense because right now it's a pretty stable pathway to where he wants to be because he's still only quite young. He's still only, 23? So it's quite a nice progression for him in his career. Whereas if he moves to Liverpool, that could stagnate. There might be a lot of competition for places. He might not get in as much. There might be issues. There might be issues where the manager doesn't like him, doesn't suit a style. Maybe Arne Slot doesn't work and they have to change managers. It's a big roll of the dice for a player like that. Whereas at Newcastle, everything is set in stone and he knows his pathway. So I think it would be really weird if he moved now. I just don't think it's on the cards. I think it would be absurd, to be honest. It would be a dodgy move for him, and I think he knows a lot better than that.
Yeah. Lewis Nightingale is a new member of the channel. Thank you, Lewis. Welcome to the channel. Thank you for your support, and say hello to your sister Florence for us. I've been saving that since I've seen him become a member. And Matt Hayes is celebrating being a year of a member now. So thank you, Matt, for all your support. Shearer69 says, we all know Gordon not going anywhere as we don't need to sell any of our top players. Dave says, my uncle's brother said that his sister's dad was working on site with a Sparky who once worked for a woman whose sister went out with Gordon, and he says he's staying at Newcastle. That's a long trail of biscuit crumbs, that is. Claire, good evening. Liverpool didn't want him when he was at Everton, but now he's had the Eddie Howe coaching. They'll happily take him. Jog on. I did see, actually, what made me laugh today was a few Liverpool fans on social media. Graham Lambert, welcome to the Members Club. Thank you for signing up, and thank you for your support. Alan Bredman's been a member for 6 months. Is it true about Lewis Miley out for 12 weeks? Yes. Unfortunately, we'll come on to that later, though. So I'd seen a few things on social media about Liverpool fans and Anthony Gordon saying they don't want him because his attitude is wrong, and he dives. From Liverpool fans. Hello, Salah. Hello, Jota. Do you remember Jota going round Martin Dubravka and throwing himself to the floor and still getting a penalty, by the way? I've watched that numerous times today. Somebody put a clip of that underneath it to have a go back. I mean, it's a darn right cheek, Billy.
Talk about the gorilla calling the monkey area ass. I mean, it's ridiculous.
Where the hell has that come from?
It's an old-fashioned saying in these parts.
Fair enough. But it is a joke, Alex, isn't it? I mean, considering how they've won penalties in the past.
Yeah, I don't really remember him diving particularly much. He's one of these players that will always try a lot more to stay on his feet, as from my memory anyway. I mean, I'm trying to take the bias out of it, which is hard to do. I appreciate that, but I can't physically recall moments where he's done that. I remember a lot of moments where Miggy's done it last season. I've seen a bit of Joe Linton do it as well, where they've thrown themselves to the floor. I can't recall any times where Gordon's really done it. He does tend to try and stay on his feet. And when he goes down, it's through contact. And I think he won us about 6 penalties last year on top of all the goals and assists. So,
yeah, he manipulates penalties, doesn't he? He doesn't dive, he manipulates penalties. Just getting his leg in the way and things like that.
We saw that a few times last season, didn't we? When
that's clever for me.
Yeah, he knows he's going to get. He knows he's going to get hit, but he'll put his leg in to be hit, and that is called winning a penalty, I guess. But he has done nothing wrong there. He's put his leg in. He's been caught. It's a penalty kick. He doesn't. I mean, remembering some of Salah's dives over the years. I mean, Jesus Christ. And as I said before, that Jota one against Dubravka was just a joke. I mean, it was an absolute joke. And the fact that it was still given is a bigger joke, but there you go. Andy says, Goldbridge did a video on Gordon singing his praises, saying his attitude was spot on and how other England players should follow his lead. Yeah, he has been speaking quite highly of Anthony Gordon, and rightly so. I mean, Gordon's...
Well, it was a crime that Southgate peddled him out in front of the media all week and then didn't play him at all. If you don't want to play him, you don't want to play him. Fair enough. If there are reasons for that. But don't peddle the 23-year-old out in front of the cameras of the nation for the week, and then he doesn't see minutes. It's bizarre. Absolutely bizarre from the manager.
Mental. David says a Liverpool channel today had Gordon on their shirt. The comments were saying they didn't want or need him.
Well, fine. We'll keep him then. No worries.
But I technically agree. They don't need him. They've got a full collage of decent players there anyway, so that they don't really need him. But you know what the media are like. Imagine going from Everton to Liverpool. That sounds like cruel and unusual punishment. Well, Peter Beardsley went the other way, didn't he? He went from Liverpool to Everton.
Yeah, a lot of players have done it over the years, haven't they?
Yeah, they have. Yeah, Gary Ablett, of course, another one.
Kevin Sheedy. There's more. Dave Watson.
Yeah. Bilbo says, Alex, I understand what you were saying prior, but since we offered him to his boyhood club, things might have changed in his thinking. I hope he stays. Well, we discussed this the other night. did we offer him or didn't we? Because according to some media reports, we did. Some say we didn't. So, I just leave that where it is, to be honest. I mean, it doesn't really matter now. But is it possible that his head could have been turned?
I don't think so. I think it was purely the fact that we were exploring, in case of emergency, hit panic button. And the panic button was Isak or Gordon was selling one of the big hitters because we didn't want a massive points deduction, because the benchmark, the number that people were banding around in the Athletic was around 10 points plus, possibly more. And they were panicking they were going to get the kitchen sink and the rule book and the next kitchen sink thrown at them, which I understand why they were frightened. So they might have gotten a heavy fine and an enormous points deduction to set a precedent. So they were concerned. There were reports of 20 or 30 mil PSR issues, and then all of a sudden it went up to 50 odd. And we were very much out the loop as fans as to how bad the situation really was. We didn't know on this channel. We thought it was possibly 20, 30. I don't think we ever envisaged it was any more than that, but apparently it was. And it was simply a panic button moment where they've said, look, we may possibly explore the possibility of selling Gordon or Isak if we absolutely have to, but we don't want to. And then we didn't need to. Therefore, that was kind of cold water was poured all over that. So I think Gordon is more than mature enough to understand that fact. Yeah. And everything that we've talked about before, I just don't think it's relevant. I think head has been turned is a very journalistic way of phrasing it for a headline. I don't think that's true personally. I could be wrong, but that's just my opinion.
I don't believe it at all. I just think, again, it's kind of the journalistic ways of trying to create the story there and trying to upset the apple cart at Newcastle, because I do believe that some of the southern media get a real buzz out of doing that.
You say that. Can I want to encapsulate everything that you've just said there.
But just 1 second, Alex, because we've had a super chat come in. Gary Clark, thank you, Gary. Gordon does the kind of effort gamesmanship I like, much better than the diving at the pool. Fair enough. Go on, Alex.
So everything you've just said there leads me on to David Ornstein. If I burn a bridge, so be it. I was appalled by his talk it was a podcast. It was a recent podcast from a couple of days ago with Chris Woff and one of the hosts. Everything Chris Woff said, not got a problem with that. Chris normally says some fantastic stuff. David Ornstein, on the other hand, when he was talking about us, only referenced one side of the story with everything. And I was very frustrated listening to that because he knows both sides and just refused to talk about it. So he was referencing Yankuba Minte and the fact that we'd threatened to throw him to the reserves team until he left, which is speculation and accusations at this point. There's no hard evidence on that. He wasn't willing to entertain the idea when he was live and talking that was maybe not true. He was just saying that that's what we'd done and that wasn't very nice, which is nonsense. And then they started banding like the word slave around about youth players and stuff like that. It got a bit, not in a racial context, guys. This was about Elliot Anderson as well, about some players from other clubs. It wasn't used in a racial connotation, so let's not go down that road. It was purely used about players being forced to just do whatever to comply with PSR and leave. That was what they were talking about. In addition to that, they were talking about the Dan Ashworth situation, about Newcastle not letting Dan Ashworth go to Manchester United, XYZ. At no point did David Ornstein reference the tapping up, the emails, and the foul play from Manchester United. Not once was that reference from David Ornstein. So he talked about several topics about Newcastle United, and it was very one-sided. And I was pretty shocked. I don't know if I see a few people in the comments have seen that as well. I was shocked by it because he's normally bang on, and I like listening to David Ornstein, but that was appalling, and it did not show the club in a good light at all because he's told half the truth. Yeah, that's not on. That's not on at all.
Ornstein turned it into the Man United show.
I couldn't believe it. I was stunned by it. I lost a lot of respect in that interview. And again, if we do this on YouTube and stuff, and if that burns a bridge for me, whatever. He shouldn't have said that. He should have said both sides of the story. It's not on.
Well, no, I think Alex, it's fine to criticize because you have to have two sides of the story, and it was terrible.
The half of it that he said was possibly true, but he just omitted the rest of it, which is
exactly that's what I mean.
unfair.
He omitted so much So in context, you're perfectly right what you're saying. Dan Robinson, thank you for a super chat. He says, we know what the transfer rumours are about. Cartel clubs are scared Newcastle will keep one of them out of Europe, so they're trying to upset the players. Andy says, does the panel think the club will come out and say something about recent events? I believe they should, but I'm doubtful they will. I don't think they should, Andy. If I'm openly honest, I get where you're coming from as well. But I don't think there's anything that the club should come out and say. Maybe they will. Maybe they absolutely will, and come out and say, "Look, we either we got it wrong. It was a bit of a sweaty palm situation when we were coming to the PSR deadline, but we've dealt with that and we've moved on." But the club don't necessarily have to come out and inform us about that. I think I've just seen a comment as well about the medical investigation that was done, and we haven't heard anything about that. I'm not bothered if we don't hear anything about that, as long as it's been rectified and they actually have put things right. But maybe they will come out in future weeks and explain everything. Maybe they'll put it out on an email to all the fans, as they do quite often. I guess time will tell on that, Billy.
I don't think they'll say anything. I really don't. I really don't think they'll say anything because, I mean, it might not just be this year situation. It could happen next year. And you're going to get people studying our figures and what have you, knowing what we've got to kind of make up on the last. And we don't want that really, do we? We want to be kind of very secretive about it. I know we have to show the accounts to the FA and things, but no need to band it to all and sundry. I don't think they'll say anything.
Yeah, there's a lot of comments coming in about that Ornstein thing, and a lot of upset fans, and rightly so.
There were a lot of comments on the video kind of echoing what I've just said as well. It was, I genuinely like David Ornstein and I love Chris Watt. I think
I've never had a problem with Ornstein. Never had a problem with
The Athletic as well. I like reading it. I like listening to their stuff because it's people who get paid, who have a lot of experience in the sport and are top tier journalists. And it's good for us to be able to consume that content. But I just found myself just getting angry listening to it because I'm just like, go on, David, finish. Where's the second half to that sentence? Like, it just gets to a point where it's frustrating. Maybe it could have been a mistake.
Yeah,
it could have been a mistake.
Maybe he'll see the feedback and realize that maybe it was wrong, and it should have been the other half should have been discussed as well. And maybe in future days he might address that. I hope he does. I hope he takes note of the feedback and does the right thing.
If he's done it more than once in the same podcast, I don't think it's a mistake. I think it's an absolute. That's his side of the story. That's his opinion.
Yeah.
But there's a lot of people talking about the whole New York Times influence on the Athletic and whether it's an American thing. I would like to believe not, that we're just going to get proper journalism, but
I mean, I like the Athletic. I have to say, I read a lot from the Athletic. I've subscribed to it. I like reading.
I have as well. I pay for it, so I want.
So do I. I like reading it. It's probably my, if I'm honest, I mean, go-to thing for a lot of the news, to be honest, because you get some not news, but reports and interviews with people, and you get some good stuff. But it could be a mistake, but it also could not. But listen, we'll park the Anthony Gordon thing. I mean, what will be will be. A lot of people put in the comments of previous shows that if Anthony Gordon does indeed want to go and he goes, there's nothing as fans we can do about that. That is something that Newcastle and Liverpool will arrange. There is other players out there.
We would get a lot of money.
We would get a lot of money. But, a replacement, again, would be difficult. But, we'd get a lot of money and we'd have a lot of money to spend on that replacement. Gary Clark, thank you for another super chat. Never tip your hand. Eisenhower didn't tip his hand for D-Day. That's a good point. Right, let's talk about one incoming that actually looks like it's picking up traction, guys, and that is Raphinha from Barcelona. A fee of around £60 million has been banded around. Now, listen, I'm a big fan of Raphinha. I have to say, I think he's a fabulous player, and I think he would do wonders on that right-hand side for us. I really do. But this seems to be picking up a little bit of pace, Billy.
Yeah, and if you saw his goal for Brazil last night in the game against Colombia, you'll be licking your lips and you're salivating at the thought of him coming on our right wing and doing the same kind of stuff for us. He's a fantastic player.
Yeah.
I think there's work to be done on him because I think he's a bit of a prima donna, but I think Eddie Howe will soon knock him into shape. Does he track back? Maybe not. But again, I think Eddie Howe will knock him into shape. I think it'll be a fantastic signing for us. And he will
And the
be a
thing
market
is,
signing.
Billy, let's just say, I mean, the things that you're saying there were some of the things we said about Gordon. You know, that maybe he was a bit of a prima donna, his attitude and stuff, but then he's come and worked for Eddie Howe, and he's just a completely different animal.
And I think having Bruno and Joe Linton also alongside him, that'll help as well.
Yes.
I mean, that they'll explain to him what's expected of him, and I think he'll come in. It'll be a great signing. I really do.
Yeah. Now, Alex, I believe we've got some little bits and bobs on Raphinha, which I'll put on the screen now. Take it away.
So it's a pleasure to return to this page, actually, because we looked at Raphinha way back when. Obviously,
we did.
I can't remember when it was. If it was the first couple of windows after the takeover, it might have been. We did quite.
Was it not when Barcelona were in real trouble, Alex? And when he first went,
it might have been then. Yeah. But we've definitely done Raphinha.
I think so.
Yeah, we've done him at least twice before a couple of years ago on this channel. So nice to see him back on the channel. Hopefully he's actually going to be a black and white shirt this time. So he's 27 now, 27 and 202 days. So he's no spring chicken. However, he is around 3 years younger than Miggy. So better in terms of age profile. He does play on the right wing predominantly and is left-footed. Ticks all of the boxes.
Yep.
And he's not actually called Raphinha. He's called Rafael Diaz Beloli. So that's his actual name.
Raphinha is a lot easier, Alex. So we'll go with that.
It is indeed.
Or Bellotti.
So a lot of people will remember.
Not Bellotti, Billy.
A lot of people remember when he was at Leeds. So obviously he was scoring goals. He's always scored goals. He scored a lot last year. 6 goals, 9 assists, 6 goal contributions in the Champions League as well. He is good at finishing his dinner. Albeit he was slightly running a bit cold on his XG last season in La Liga, but massively overperformed in the assist department. Possibly other people being quite clinical, maybe Lewandowski. You know what he's like. He is on not just some of the cheese, he is on all of the cheese. That is quite a big wage. We don't pay anybody anywhere near that. So that's going to have to come down slightly if this is going to be a possible transfer, because there's no way we're going to pay him more.
We said this before about wages, haven't we, Alex? I mean, there is ways of dealing with that and getting around it. So maybe they can come to an agreement.
Well, his contract does run for another 3 years. So it's 3 years this summer. So the 60-odd kind of seems fair. It's a guy who's done it at the top level, is at Barca, Brazilian, peak age. 60's fair. Like I'd be wanting the same, maybe more for him. So you can see why they're kind of quoting that price, or that's the price that's been banded around. In terms of his data at the moment, not quite as much ball progression as there used to be, but I mean, he's putting his money where his mouth is in terms of actual performances, like shots total. 4 shots a game is alien. That's monstrous. So many shots. 5.39 shot creating actions per 90 as well. So there's teammates getting 5 shots per game as a result of what he's doing for them. Ball progression is still above average, to be fair to him, in terms of progressive carries. Successful take-ons is okay, middle of the pack. Maybe not always the best at taking on his fullback, but it's fine. It's where it needs to be. And the defensive metrics are actually not that bad. He's sort of middle of the park for aerial duels won as a winger, which Eddie Howe likes people who can win in the air, apart from Isak. Interceptions as well is one of my favorite metrics because it implies you're good at positioning, you know where you need to stand, and you can block passing lanes, and you're intelligent and can read the game. So I kind of like this. I think he's possibly developed since the last time we've looked at him. I haven't really watched him much in the last 12 months, I've got to admit. So it's interesting to see how his data's changed over this time. But his data is profiling quite deliciously. I mean, that's filthy. Look at that list. So this is what his data matches in terms of other players around the top 5 leagues in Europe. Yeah. There are some names on this list. So Saka, Felix, Palmer, Foden. I mean, you guys can read. That's a really impressive list. If you saw what Dani Olmo did the other night for Spain as well, Florian Wirtz is just ridiculous. Eze, of course, for Palace is monstrous as well. The list is fantastic. And if you look at career to date, obviously we've seen this before, but he does seem to be available quite a lot as well. Although maybe rotation. I think obviously there was Dembele was still at Barcelona when he first joined. Of course, he then went to PSG. He did only make 17 starts last season and 28 appearances. I don't know if there was any injuries involved in that. We will have a look at his injuries tab anyway. 14 goal contributions the year before. And the same again, no more than that, 15 if I can count. He got more in fewer minutes the next year. So he's good for goals. He's definitely a lot more consistent than Miggy is at the moment at putting the ball in the back of the net. And then his transfer marked.
Just before
26.
you do that, Alex, I'll just go through a couple of super chats, mate, so I don't miss them. Avina, thank you for yours. Agree, Billy. Why do fans think the club should discuss their confidential business with them? I don't in my businesses, and wouldn't expect them to either. And Dan Robinson, thank you for another one. My dog starts barking whenever Stato speaks because he's agreeing with Stato.
Hi, dog.
Yeah. Right. Just before you go ahead with the injury, Alex, I'll just take that down for a second.
I'm not causing the injury.
No. We're gonna do our first giveaway of the night. So it is for this. It is a Toon Review mug. So that is for the members tonight. So if you are a member, this is for you. If you're not a member, hit that join button, and you can get in with a chance of winning the mug. We've got other prizes tonight as well. Billy, what would you like the hashtag to be for this one?
Plain and simple, isn't it? Drinking receptacle, no mug.
Jesus Christ, I panicked there. Okay, right. So there you go. Hashtag mug. In the chat, guys. Now, don't try and cheat because the mods will just take you. Look who's first in there.
Carl Lewis.
Yes, I know. Very quick. But you have to be a member or the mods will just delete your comment, guys, and it won't be counted. So don't try and cheat. Hashtag mug if you're a member. We will give a few viewers prizes away tonight as well, so don't worry about that. But for now, it is hashtag mug for members only. Christopher Nolan, stop cheating. Fletch, stop cheating. You have to be members. Steve Elliott, they'll all get deleted anyway. The mods will knock them off. But just stop cheating. You have to be a member. How many times, guys? Stop cheating. Just become a member. It's a bit disrespectful to the members when you're trying to, we will have viewers ones a bit later on. Okay. Why a member though? Well, because you've got to have,
because they pay to support the channel being kind, therefore they get
on a monthly basis. Absolutely,
giveaways and things. That's the whole point.
Yeah. Daniel Crespin, thank you. He's been a member for 10 months. His best YouTube channel by far. Thank you for the content. We've got to give something back to members, guys. I mean, Jesus. Paul S has become a new member, and KK Chia has gifted 5 Toon Review memberships as well. So if you've become one of those members, you can enter the draw. Hashtag mug. We'll just keep it open a little while Alex does Raphinha's rest of his information, and then we'll do the draw and move on to the next one. Alex, take it away.
Right, well, I've decided to go for a new angle on this injury thing. I think everybody has to hit the like button and the subscribe button if you're not subscribed. Otherwise, he's going to have really bad injury lists, and it's going to be 2 pages long. I feel like we're going to have to do that. We're going to have to channel some good luck with a like button, and then he'll have a good injury record.
Yeah.
So fingers crossed, guys. Make sure you hit like, otherwise.
12-man Soon's been a member for 14 months, and he says, I'm extremely excited for the season with all the cogs that are currently turning. Jock Bar's also gifted a membership as well. Thank you, Jock.
It's not too bad. So last season, 2 muscle injuries. So basically a month between September, October, and a month between Jan and Feb. He just needed a bit of a rest twice a year. Wouldn't be so lucky. So yeah, it's not too bad. And then a knock for 2 days in March. I mean, it's fine. It's doable. It's no more than a lot of our lads have had. I guess Gordon's been fit for a lot longer than this, but there's nothing in here that screams, oh my God, he's done his hamstring 3 times and he's done his ACL. We're just touch wood there, but it's fine. His injury record looks all right for the most part. In terms of any other information we may need, I mean, he plays both wings. There is a good point that a lot of people mentioned as well. Yes, I apologize. It slipped my mind. Of course, Lamine Yamal has come through at Barcelona, which will have reduced Raphinha's minutes. There will be some rotation in here. So that explains his minute output for this first season and the next season at Barcelona. He was competing with Dembele before he went to PSG, and then obviously Yamal's emergence. So yeah, he may not be happy with that. Maybe there's definitely an option to pry him away. I didn't realize you've got Italian citizenship as well as Brazilian. Interesting.
And Ferran Torres started, of course, as well.
And Ferran Torres, yeah. So he's got quite a lot of competition in that squad. I mean, to be fair, now you're talking about it, who is in this Barcelona squad? I mean, it's worth having a look. Where's the Barcelona badge? Because we just keep forgetting people. Right, so forwards, Lewandowski, Yamal, Raphinha, Ansu Fati, of course, goes back from his loan at Brighton.
Yep.
Vitor Roque, of course, who they bought and just isn't playing properly. Ferran Torres as well. So there's a lot of competition there for him. So do they need 6 players in forward areas? Raphinha might go, especially if there's a good fee for them. They are in financial trouble. It definitely could be a realistic thing. But this is how he's doing recently. Obviously doing pretty well for Brazil. Billy said his goal last night was fantastic. I haven't seen it, unfortunately.
It's a free
so he
kick,
scored it in
wasn't
the
it?
12th minute.
Yeah. It was a bit of a feisty game. It was lots of fighting going on. But
in the Copa America, never.
Actually, Colombia with a better side is what I was watching.
Niall says Alex, he stated he doesn't want to join as we ain't in the Champions League. That was a news report that came out of Spain when we were first linked. I wouldn't really pay any attention to that.
I mean, if Barcelona are actually offering him to us, they surely must have had some kind of inkling that he would come, surely.
I mean, he may or he may not. I mean, he's been heavily linked, so we get to talk about him. That's all it is. Yeah, this is a pretty... I don't know why Ronaldinho said those comments, because I like this team. I think Raphinha, Paqueta and Vinicius in front of Bruno and Jago. I like this team. Rodrigo up front is not quite what Brazil used to be, but he still performs at a high level. You know, he just won the Champions League, so he's not that bad. It's a very nice Brazil team. Recent performances for Barcelona: 3-0 victory, dropped to 6.9. He scored a penalty against Sociedad, but did drop an 8.1, which was quite a recent game. Let's have a look at how he did in this game. He was everywhere, apparently. He was all of the places. Oh, that's a lot of shots. That is 7 shots to be specific. He completed both dribbles, hit the woodwork once as well. Tried 5 crosses, none of which connected. So naughty Robert Lewandowski there. 0 long balls. Got mucked in reasonably well with his ground duels, I guess. Again, this is only one game, so you take the metrics with a pinch of salt. An interception as well. And then his recent form before then. Well, that's not bad. He's dropping a lot of high rating performances there. You've got mostly 7s. You've got a few in the 8s as well, an 8.9. Scored 2 against PSG in the Champions League. We like players who score against PSG. We have lots of them. Good against Las Palmas as well. Got an assist in the win over Napoli in the Champions League as well back in March. So he's putting up numbers in big games. He's being consistent. His injury record is fairly solid. He's a right winger. He's experienced. He's left-footed. He ticks all of the boxes and some extra boxes. If he's available at a reasonable price, absolutely, I'll pull the trigger on this one.
I agree. I think the price is very interesting for me to see what they come up with. What I would say again, there's people in the chat saying, "Oh, you know, not really for me, not really for me." We're going to get this with every player that we're linked to. I think that there'll be some fans, you know, who don't really fancy him, but others do. Personally, I think he'd be a cracking signing. I think Eddie would get the very, very best out of him, and I think you're right that the Joe Linton Bruno situation as well would actually help him and give him an idea of what is expected. I mean, where do you stand on him, Billy?
Yeah, I'm a big fan. And if we could have a front 3 of Raphinha, Isak, and Gordon, and that's a championship chasing front 3 for me.
Yeah,
his free kicks are astonishing. The one he scored last night is an astonishing free kick. Oh, he didn't do a lot else, but I mean, it was a pretty feisty game, and you know, Raphinha tends to kind of disappear at them.
I mean, Brazil have been pretty awful actually at the Copa America. They've been pretty bad.
I mean, Bruno's been playing well, to be fair. But
he's getting plaudits. Yeah, he's getting the plaudits, isn't he? But the rest of them, I mean, it's just they don't seem to be gelling at all, which is a very odd thing to say about a Brazilian side. But let's do the draw.
Somebody's just called Kubo the Japanese Almiron. That's really harsh.
How dare you? Who was that? Who was that? That is getting named and shamed on the Devious Orange. I am disgusted in you. How dare you? Kubo, the Japanese Almiron. I am shocked by you, Devious Orange. I never thought you would come out with such a statement. My God. I've lost track of things now. That's knocked me.
The draw, the giveaway.
Yes, Alex, the draw. Let's get the hell onto the draw, shall we? Where are we here? There we are. Right, okay. So, Can we see that on screen?
Indeedy.
Okay, so here we go, the draw. Now, just to mention that if you are a winner, you have to confirm in the chat that you've seen that you're a winner within 30 seconds, or we move on and draw it again. So you've got 30 seconds to confirm. And here we go, the draw. This is the first prize of it to evening. And it goes to Randall Nichols. Randall Nichols, you are a winner, my friend, and you now have 30 seconds. Geordie Rick for sending me this music for our giveaway. It's exactly 30 seconds long. So if music ends, you are out. And we draw again. So let's keep an eye on for Randall in the chat.
There he is, he's here.
Yeah, he's there. Well done, Randall. Congratulations. Ooh, only just as well, mind. The music's just finished. Well done, Randall. You are a winner. So if you can email me, please, with subject TTR mug and then your address in the other area of the email, and we will get that sent out to you. The email address is halfway down in the description. So well done, Randall. You are our first winner of the evening. Now, let's do another one, shall we? And we're giving away 2 of these, so there'll be 2 draws for these guys. These are absolutely fabulous. And again, thank you very much to Spike for providing all these prizes. It is this. It's very difficult to see, but it's the Champions League team, all signed by the Champions League team. It's at home, and I believe it was the PSG game. No. Well, Tonali's there, so was it? Did he play against PSG? I can't remember.
He played against PSG, yeah.
Right, I think it is the PSG game. So it is the team photo before the match, all signed, and this is members only again. So we'll be doing 2 draws of this. Mr. Billy, Alex, what do you want it to be this time? What's the hashtag?
Let's do hashtag Fabian because of the great goal against PSG.
Oh, hang on, it's just kicked me out of the tool. Don't put it in yet, guys, because I haven't actually...
Don't put it in yet. Wait, guys.
Yeah, all in lowercase. Hashtag Fabian. Go now, guys. Go now. Hashtag Fabian, all in lowercase. And you have to be a member to win. Remember, 2 draws tonight for that one, for these prizes. So 2 to give away, and Stato's in again. I mean, Stato, you can message me privately for, to try and...
Yeah, I know, but it's fun to go
any leftovers, you know what I mean?
Because everybody says it's going to be rigged, but I have never won, bearing in mind. I think I've entered every single draw. I've never won.
It's going to happen now you said that.
Yeah.
Well, fingers crossed.
Absolutely. Oops, I seem to have entered.
No.
Anyway.
Post it to yourself.
As I say, we will have some viewers giveaways a bit later on in the show as well. So we'll keep that going for 5 or so minutes. Now, what I do want to talk about now is Miggy Almiron, because he is getting absolute hammered for his performances in the Copa America, and substituted Billy at half time.
Yeah, pulled off at half time. He's been absolutely dreadful. I didn't see last night's game because it was on at the same time as the Brazil game, but yeah. I mean, the other games, he was really, really ineffective and basically doing what he does for us, but wandering all over the place and giving the ball away at will. I'm afraid he's going through a bit of a rough patch at the minute. I think he needs to move on and rekindle his career elsewhere.
I mean, Alex, it does seem like, from what I've seen again today, that Newcastle United are, really trying to make a transfer happen. I don't think he's any part of Eddie Howe's plans next season. If I'm honest, from what from outside looking in, certainly at the media reports, and given his performances, for Paraguay, he's getting absolutely hammered. I don't know whether you saw there was a post went up earlier on today on Twitter with some of the Paraguayan fans complaining to Miggy. They weren't happy.
Well, he's not been doing well for Paraguay. I mean, I've only watched bits of the international stuff, but I mean, recent ratings are not great. 0-0 against Peru. He dropped to 6.9, didn't really do a lot. 3-0 loss against Chile, dropped to 6.4. No goals in that game. He was benched against Panama. They did get a goal against Colombia, but they lost, and Miggy was nothing to do with the goal either. They got absolutely tonked 4-1 by Brazil. Again, the singular goal for Paraguay was nothing to do with Miggy. And then last night's game against Costa Rica, a 2-1 loss. Miggy got carded, hooked at halftime, a 6.4. 9 passes in the entire game. He didn't win a singular duel. No shots. Just bugger all, really. So, yeah, he's had a real tough time. And those ratings kind of have bled through past the end of the season into his summertime for internationals. And it's poor. It's just a lot of 6s and low 6s. And it's a lot of... it's a return to running around.
Yeah, Foxy's saying there, Paraguay have been getting hammered in general. They conceded 2 within 7 minutes against Costa Rica, which tells you the issues are bigger than Miggy. Absolutely. Look, they're not playing very well. They're a bit of a mess, to be honest. But you know what it's like, and especially in South American football, they do turn on people very, very quickly, more than what we do over here. And if you're substituted at half time, you're going to be one of those scapegoats because the manager's taking you off.
He will be the scapegoat because he's Paraguay's number 10. He's played in the Premier League. He's scored in the Champions League. He's quite experienced now. He's 30 years old. So he's got to kind of just suck it up and deal with it. He's going to get the punishment from the fans and the abuse. Well, not the abuse. We don't like abuse in that sense, but you know what I mean. He's going to get the kind of speculation and criticism because he is the guy for Paraguay. Like you've got Enciso as well for Paraguay, but on the whole, it's him and Miggy really. But Enciso's quite young, so I think he's allowed poor performances, whereas Miggy is meant to be the guy for his country really. So, they're not a great team in general. They are going to lose a lot of games.
Yeah, Alexander says it was 34 minutes, not half time.
Oh, was it? It says 34 minutes on SofaScore. Maybe he was hooked a bit earlier than
34 minutes.
Yeah, I didn't watch it, so I can't comment.
It says 46 on SofaScore.
No, he says ignore me. I got it wrong. It is half time. Okay, no problem. That's fine. Look, do you think, Billy, that Murphy is technically now ahead of Almiron in the pecking order? You know, this is obviously before we sign another right winger. Would you say that he's ahead of Miggy now?
Yes, I would. Absolutely, I would. He's more reliable. He contributes. To me, he contributes more.
Yeah.
I mean, I've not even looked at the figures, but I would say that Murphy's stats for assists and things and goal contributions are way ahead of Miggy's last season.
Massively. Murphy got 3 goals, 7 assists in the Prem, so 10 goal contributions in total, and got an assist in the Champions League as well. And obviously is more versatile, was covered at right back, will cross the ball.
Cushy's put a comment and said, Paul, I've been told his head was turned by Liverpool. I mean, look, there was earlier rumours when the window began that maybe Miggy was off Ipswich were interested in an opportunity, maybe stay in the Premier League. But that sort of drifted away. But the move to Saudi is well and truly on. And I think, judging by his awful performances in the Copa America, I think that his value's probably dropped a bit to around 60 million now. So if is it Effie Tack or whoever it is that they're looking at him? 60 mils probably.
Is that Gerard's team? I think, isn't it?
I think it is. Yeah. It's not working out for Miggy. But let's do another draw, shall we? Let's see who's won these. I've still got the screen active. Actually, there we go. Right. So let's see who's won here. This is the first draw. There is another one, of course. 2 people will win. So the first winner of the Champions League signed photographs is Matt Hayes. What a way to celebrate 12 months membership. He's won a prize. Matt's now got 30 seconds. There's the music. So you've got 30 seconds. You get in the chat, Matt. Tell us what you won. Right there already. Beautiful. How quick was that, guys? Matt, drop me an email, please, with subject Champions League photo and your address in the main bulk of the email. Halfway down the chat, halfway down the description, is the email address. Pop that through to me and we'll get that on the way to you now. And we will draw again. Here we go. Second winner. Who could it be? The second winner is the Ruffian Benissian.
Fritz.
Now, he is one of our mods, but he is a winner. Let's see if he gets. He puts in the chat that he knows he's won. He's won, sorry, not win.
Well, while we're waiting for him as well, did you know that Jacob Murphy was born in Wembley?
What, the stadium?
Wow. It just says Wembley. So he's destined to get his hands on a trophy, isn't he, at some point?
Absolutely. Raphinha Benisian is there. He is a winner. So thank you very much. Send me the address, please, Mr. Raphinha, and we will get that out to you as well. So those are the two photographs.
Well, that's my nickname from when I was a man about town there. Look, giveaway tool. I was to give it away every week.
Really? Wow. Anyway, let's do another one. And this is for everyone, right? This is for everybody. This is for all our viewers. Let me just shut that screen down a second. This is obviously, if you are a gentleman, you could get this for your partner. They'll be very happy with it. But it is a Mrs. Newcastle United mug. A Mrs. Newcastle United mug. So, listen, you could use it if you're a bloke as well. It doesn't bloody matter, does it? These days. So there you go. Now I'm going to. It's my turn to choose the hashtag here. yeah. And would you believe the hashtag to win the? This is for everybody. Remember, so members and viewers, you can all put in for this. The hashtag is Billy, all lowercase. Hashtag Billy. Let's get going in the comments. Hashtag Billy. Everybody can be in for it. And let's see who wins the Mrs. Newcastle United mug. Right. Any other news that you guys want to bring up?
Lewis Miley.
Yes. Really bad news about Lewis Miley, to be honest. Just when we think that, a new season will start, all flowers and rainbows. Keith KJ, thank you for becoming a new member. Thank you for supporting the channel, my man. Much appreciated. Just when we think it's all going to be flowers and windows, flowers and fields and meadows. And
Buyers have spelled Billy wrong.
Oh dear! How can you spell Billy wrong?
Oh,
no, he's all lowercase, Mark. It has to be all lowercase.
He put Willie first.
Well, there you go. Well, I bet you've been called that a few times as well,
Indeed.
Billy, to be fair. But Alex, it's a bit of a tragedy for Miley, isn't it? Especially, before we're moving into pre-season.
Yeah, well, they ruled him out for the rest of the season, Eddie did, which is fair. He's young, protect him. And then we were hoping he was going to kind of recover, get a good pre-season under his belt, and then kick on and maybe play in pre-season, get some of the early cup games, like the early rounds of the Carabao Cup or something. And unfortunately, he's injured. It's a shame because he would have played in the Cellar Cup weekend and stuff like that, and now he won't, which is a big shame, really. Chris Woff's written the article about it, about why, on The Athletic. So he said Miley is believed to have broken his metatarsal while running at Newcastle's training ground. In his bid to regain fitness for the upcoming season, he had been aiming to participate in pre-season training scheduled to commence at the end of next week. So the midfielder is expected to undergo an operation next week and will miss up to 12 weeks. So he hurt himself jogging, which is a bit of a problem. That's kind of what you have to do lots of in this sport. So bit of an issue, but
especially pre-season as well. Yeah,
he'll be back, but he'll be back probably September, October time. So we won't see him in pre-season.
You know what that means, don't you? Sean started the first two games.
Yeah, it will do.
Oh God, yeah.
Well, yeah, he will be because Tonali can't play straight away. So
unless Alfie Harrison comes through, because I've seen a few reports in that they're very impressed with him. So,
well, he will be part of pre-season first team squad, apparently, according to rumors. So we'll
come on, Alfie, you can do it, son.
We may see Alfie Harrison in the second Cellar Cup game because they'll have to rotate because it's two games in 2 days. So that day 2 is going to be a great sort of litmus test of how close. Well, no, we say that last year, Santiago Munez, whatever his name is. I can't remember whoever the real guy is and whoever the movie guy is. What was his name?
Nunes or
Was it?
Nunes, I remember.
It was Munoz,
I
wasn't
can't
it?
remember. The Mexican kid who we signed actually
Yes.
played in the Cellar Cup weekend, and we thought, ooh, and then he just left.
He vanished.
So-
Yeah. Caboose. I love that. I love doing that. I love that username. It's just a broken metatarsal. I'm sure he will recover well. All the younger lads recover nicely. Metatarsal is a pain in the arse, right? That's not the injury, by the way, but the recovery time, and we've seen. I remember when we went through a boatload of injuries with metatarsals, it seemed to be the in thing to do. People were blaming the football boots and everything for so many metatarsal injuries. It's a nasty one, but hopefully he recovers. Brian H69, welcome to Members Club. Thank you very much for signing up. Graham Lambert has also signed up to membership. Keith KJ, we've already seen. Gary Clark, thank you for your super chat. If Miggy wants to stay in the area due to his young family, would Sunderland, Middlesbrough, or somebody else nearby have him? Ooh.
Sorry, I needed Foxy to clarify that. Santiago Munoz is the one who played for us, and Munez is the guy from the movie.
Yeah,
Thank you.
I
I
did
couldn't
say
remember
Munoz.
which way
knew I
round
was
they
right with
were.
that. I knew I was right. I'm very often. I'm not wrong very often, but I'm always right. Trevor says Alfie is the next player we have to settle PSR. Give our. Wow, Kieran's just gifted 10 Toon Review memberships, guys. Thank you very much, Kieran, for that generosity. I'll let you guys who've become members there quickly put in #Billy if you want to win the Mrs. Newcastle mug. Dan Robinson, thank you for another super chat. If the metatarsal is a pain in your arse, Paul, you're putting it where it doesn't go.
Better arsehole.
Better arsehole, yeah, absolutely. What the hell? Oh, I don't know. That's gone past too quick. Right, let's do the draw. Let's keep them coming and keep celebrating our fantastic viewers. There you go. #Billy on the screen. Here we go. The draw for Mrs. Newcastle mug. And that goes to David R. David R., you now have 30 seconds to confirm you have won.
Tristan makes a good point. Alfie Harrison's got a 40% sell.
I'm sorry, did you just turn the music off, Alex?
No, that wasn't me.
Oh, okay. David R's here, so we'll turn the music off anyway. Sorry, Alex, go on.
No, that wasn't me. Tristan made a good point about City having a 40% sell on for Harrison. So I think it's quite unlikely we would use him in that kind of way as a PSR kind of. Although the rules are changing, we've got all the anchoring and stuff coming in next year. We will do more shows on that closer to the time because all the finances are going to change a little bit. There's loads more shows to do about all the new Champions League formats and rules changes with the finances. So, but not yet. At the moment, we're doing fund transfers because the window's open.
We are absolutely. Should we should I do should we give away another Toon Review mug, guys?
Yeah. He doesn't do a giveaway for ages, and then he does like 6 all at once.
No, I'm not going to do another hashtag. I'm just going to do another draw. So everybody that entered for that Mrs. Newcastle United mug will get a chance. So here we go. Let's see who wins this one. It's for another Toon Review mug, and that is going to be Surit Singh.
He's in Canada, I think.
Oh, well, you've got 30 seconds, Surit, to get on. Please don't. Let's see if you...
Shipping costs to Canada, eh?
For God's sake.
Yeah.
Do they have cowboys in
Oh,
Canada?
bollocks, he's there. Sorry, well done. Well done, Surit. Sergit, you have won. Send me your address. I might get lost in the email. Send me your address, Sergit, and we'll get that sent. Of course, I'll get it sent to Calgary. Of course, we will. We don't mind posting overseas on the Toon Review. Simple as that. We don't. We've got lots. I've sent lots of things away to
Australia.
to foreign.
And them pigeons come back absolutely fucked, didn't they? It's always got an address in Newcastle anyway.
Who has?
Sergit, just
Sergit, you are just what a beautiful man. Well done, Sergit. Absolutely superb. That is it for the giveaways today, but we will have more all week, guys. I've got lots to give away, some brilliant stuff as well. So make sure that you get signed up for memberships as well, because there's going to be a lot more member draws without a shadow of a doubt. Now, listen, news might creep in any time now during the transfer window. I'm seeing, Alex, what the hell is that on the screen?
I mean, you can put it up if you want. So it's basically just Toon polls this week, obviously baited all of the Man United fans online that they paid 2.7 million for Dan Ashworth, when in reality, he's just made that up as a joke. That all of the publications for Manchester United thought it was real.
Yeah,
they've all run
like
with
sharks.
it.
Yeah.
And they've bitten, and it's been hilarious all week because they all think we're Muppets and we've let him go for nothing. When in reality, it was just Toon polls making up a funny.
I still don't know that we know the exact amount, do we? Because some people are saying 10 to 12. ESPN are adamant it was 20. So
either or, I think anywhere between 10 and 20 is a win for us. Obviously, it's funny that they think it was 2 point. Oh, we have an Evertonian in the chat. Where does that come from? That's funny.
Thanks,
George.
George.
18 months too late. If you've been in a coma for the last 18 months, he's a nice boy now, and he plays really good football.
No, Alex, he's been in a skip. Anyway, so yeah, it's look. I'm just hoping for some very, very good stuff coming up. Tristan says, Paul, apparently we were after this transfer guru Man United have got in, apparently. Transfer guru? Or is that the one from Man City?
I'm not sure what he's on about.
Yeah, but listen, stories I've read said 7 to 8 million makes sense with PSR. We were the ones that were keen to get it done before July 1st. Well, yeah, but the satisfactory thing in all of that is we stuck by our guns and we haven't just sort of bent over backwards for Manchester United like they expect everybody to do. KK is asking if there's any further news on Rory Finnegan. Of course, the young lad from Blackburn. Just saying that the talks are ongoing. There's nothing confirmed yet by either club, to be honest, but he looks like he could be coming in. But obviously, he'd be part of the academy as well to start with, I would have thought, guys. I wouldn't have thought he'd go straight into, although maybe play a part in pre-season.
Potentially. But Fox is asking about the Seller Cup opponents. They have been announced. It's Girona and Brest, I believe.
It is there.
So
it's on out on the 9th of August. And Stade Brestois, however you meant to say that, on the 10th of August.
Both, by the way, I know people have been saying they're not really exciting teams. However, what I will say is they're both in the Champions League, guys. Girona finished 3rd in La Liga, and I believe Stade Brest are also in the Champions League. So, yeah, they are two very decent teams.
Yeah, I was a bit offended when people were saying that online as well. You know, we've got to. I don't want to say the cliche, but remember where we've come from here. Like, we don't. What do you want us? Do you want us to get Real Madrid and Bayern Munich every single preseason? Like,
Brest are in all the cups.
Yeah.
They actually finished 14th. So no, then. Oh, no, they didn't. No. Sorry, that's this year by alphabetical order. No, they finished 3rd. They are in the Champions League.
I thought they were in the Champions League, yeah. Cynical Jim, send me your address again on email and I'll get you something sent out. I do apologize for that. Royal Mail broke his mug. I do remember. So send me your address again and I'll get something sent out to you, matey. It may not be a mug, but it'll be something nice. But there you go. That is it for tonight. Thank you very much for tuning in, guys. We will be back with a new show in the morning because there will be news to bring you, whether it's just a further continuation of the Raphinha transfer or if we are starting to maybe pick up on Miggy leaving, etc. But we will certainly have news. So make sure you join us at 11:30 for that. And of course, keep your eye open for the announcement of shows on notifications, Facebook group, Instagram, TikTok, what have I missed out, Twitter, etc. So make sure you keep an eye out on notifications for when we go live because there'll probably be a show tomorrow night as well. Judging by how much news is flying in the door, it's brilliant to talk about it with you guys. So thank you very much for joining us tonight. Well done to the winners. Thank you to all the new members and the gifting of memberships, super chats. Mods, thank you very much for keeping a nice eye on the chat and making sure nothing went wrong there. And, of course, thank you to Billy and Alex. But, again, thank you to every single one of you for watching tonight. Absolute legends. We will do it all again tomorrow, guys. So join me and Billy at 11:30 in the morning. And then, of course, tomorrow night again for more craziness that is Newcastle United. But in the meantime, enjoy the rest of your evening, folks, and we will see you very soon. Good night.
Allez, breasts.
Come back and check on some breathing. So much trouble, make my day.